5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start. Zoos have long been seen as places where people can observe animals up close, learn about wildlife, and support conservation. However, the traditional idea of keeping all kinds of animals in captivity has increasingly come under ethical scrutiny. While some argue that zoos help preserve endangered species and educate the public, a deeper look reveals that zoos are truly beneficial only for rescued animals, not for all. Animals that are born in the wild or capable of living in their natural habitats should not be kept in confined enclosures for the sake of human entertainment or study. Rescued animals are those that have been injured, orphaned, or displaced from their natural environment due to human activities such as deforestation, poaching, or urban expansion. These animals often cannot return to the wild because they would not survive. For them, zoos can provide a sanctuary. In such cases, zoos offer medical care, safety from predators, and a stable food supply. They also provide some opportunity for these animals to live a relatively peaceful life when compared to the risks they would face if returned to the wild. In this context, the role of zoos is similar to that of rehabilitation centers or sanctuaries, where the primary goal is animal welfare rather than public entertainment. On the other hand, keeping healthy wild animals in captivity merely for display can have numerous negative consequences. Wild animals are adapted to vast territories, complex social structures, and constantly changing environments. Enclosures, no matter how well designed, cannot replicate the freedom and stimulation of the wild. Animals such as big cats, elephants, and primates often suffer from what is known as zoochosis. This condition involves repetitive, purposeless behavior such as pacing, overgrooming, or self-harm and is widely considered a sign of psychological distress. Such behavior is rarely seen in the wild and strongly indicates that captivity fails to meet their mental and emotional needs. Moreover, when animals are taken from the wild and placed in zoos, they are often stripped of their natural instincts. The inability to hunt, forage, migrate, or engage in complex social interactions alters their behavior and biological functions. In some cases, animals become so dependent on humans that they can never be reintroduced into the wild. This defeats the purpose of conservation. True conservation aims to protect species in their natural environment, not to preserve them as specimens in artificial settings. Another issue arises when zoos claim to support breeding programs for endangered species. While this may seem noble on the surface, it is worth questioning how effective these programs really are. Many animals bred in captivity are never released into the wild. Instead, they spend their entire lives in confinement, and their offspring often do the same. In some cases, breeding is more about drawing crowds and increasing ticket sales than genuine conservation efforts. Furthermore, resources that go into maintaining exotic animals in zoos could be better spent on protecting natural habitats, combating poaching, and supporting wildlife reserves where animals can live freely. In addition, zoos often promote a distorted view of wildlife. Visitors, especially children, may leave with the impression that animals are meant to live in cages and that their needs are fully met in these settings. This can lead to a shallow understanding of animal behavior and conservation. True education about wildlife should involve teaching respect for animals in their natural environment and understanding the complex ecosystems they are part of. Seeing a lion behind glass or an elephant in a small yard does not offer the same lesson as observing animals in the wild, or at least through media that shows them behaving naturally in their own habitat. It is also important to acknowledge that zoos exist primarily for human benefit. They provide recreation, jobs, and profit for their owners or the institutions that run them. While there are zoos that genuinely care for the animals and attempt to mimic natural conditions, these are exceptions rather than the rule. Many zoos around the world are poorly regulated, with inadequate space, insufficient food, and untrained staff. In such conditions, animals not only suffer physically but also mentally. In contrast, sanctuaries and wildlife rehabilitation centers operate with a different philosophy. Their main goal is to care for animals that cannot survive in the wild and, if possible, release them back into nature when they are ready. Furthermore, modern technology offers new ways to experience wildlife without harming animals. Virtual reality, documentaries, and nature reserves open to responsible ecotourism can provide people with a deeper and more ethical connection to animals. These methods can inspire genuine concern and action for conservation without requiring animals to live in confinement. By investing in these alternatives, society can move away from outdated models of animal display and towards more humane and effective approaches to wildlife protection. Another ethical concern is the idea of consent. Animals in zoos have no say in where they live or how they are treated. They are moved, bred, and displayed based on human decisions. This lack of autonomy contrasts sharply with the freedom they enjoy in the wild. Animals have complex emotions and social lives. Taking that away from them without necessity is ethically questionable. Rescued animals, by contrast, often need human intervention to survive. Zoos can serve an important purpose for animals that have no other means of survival due to injury, abandonment, or habitat loss. For these rescued animals, zoos can act as a sanctuary, offering care and protection. However, keeping healthy wild animals in captivity for display or entertainment is neither ethical nor necessary. It limits their natural behavior, causes psychological harm, and misrepresents the true essence of wildlife. Conservation efforts should focus on protecting natural habitats and allowing animals to live freely in the wild. Education and entertainment should evolve to reflect a deeper respect for animal life and an understanding that not all animals benefit from human control. Only by making this distinction can we ensure that our treatment of animals aligns with compassion and responsibility. Stop.